All right. It is currently the 30th of October, 2024. Let's jump right into it. Lesson 451. Normalize and see that every little mundane thing you do is just a part of this beautiful grind. Just like a game. Every time you kill that small goblin, mine that iron ore, chop that tree for wood, waiting for that hut to finish building, you enjoy those little mundane things in the game. You don't complain. And ironically, it's quite satisfying because you know you're sort of adding to your character. You're making your character stronger. So treat real life, treat real life the exact same. When you're sort of washing the dishes, talking to that friend, driving to that park, doing that morning run, taking a photo of all your receipts before throwing out the bin, start seeing those things as part of the grind and you're adding to your character. You're leveling yourself up. Enjoy it as if it was a game because in the game, for whatever reason, you enjoy mining that ore. You enjoy sort of refining the ore. You enjoy chopping the tree for wood so you can have the wood to build a chest. Life is the exact same. You wash the dishes so you have a clear house, or you wash the dishes so you could cook dinner. But start seeing every little thing you do as building blocks that are adding to your character. Lesson 452. The issues you are seeing are a reflection of your internal problems manifesting. Example, the guy who's the clown of the group in the run club try to make you the butt of his jokes. If you had a feeling of lack of self-worth, this would have annoyed you. If you had confidence in your self-worth, you wouldn't have even seen this as an issue and you wouldn't have even seen that you were the butt of the joke. It wouldn't have bothered you at all. Therefore, if the same scenario could have two different feelings and outcomes, one positive and one negative, that would mean every negative feeling you have is actually not because of the scenario, but it's an internal problem. Every negative feeling you have, listen to it and listen to it, listen to that negative feeling and link it to the internal problem that is manifesting this. Like, where is this problem being manifested from? Acknowledge it, feel it, and you'll see it fade away. Yeah, you are the source of all the negative feelings, all the negative things that happen in this world. Like if I'm feeling not seen or I didn't have a chance to share everything I wanted to share, that means that I wanted to share everything. I wanted to share everything because I wanted that person to hear everything I had to say. I wanted that person to hear everything I had to say because I wanted that person to acknowledge me and think I'm smart or cool. And I wanted that person to think I'm smart or cool because, you know, I feel like a loser, maybe. I feel like I'm, I wanted affirmation because I feel like maybe a lot of the things I'm thinking about is crazy. And I wanted that affirmation to let me know that I'm not crazy. See how like me being disappointed that I wasn't able to share everything I wanted to share roots down to me just wanting to get confirmation that I'm not crazy and the things say are valid and are smart and educated. And the moment you see the root, once you see it, then everything sort of fades away. Lesson 453. If you can't enjoy the present moment, but you're always thinking about that weekend that's coming up, that next event, that next party, 90% of your life will be miserable because 90% of your life is work. It's work, it's earning money, earning resources, exercising, working yourself, washing dishes, doing chores. And 10% is, the party, the time with friends, socializing, going to movies. That's 10% of your life. So a lot of people miserably go through 90% of their life for that 10%. Or you can learn to love that 90%, learn to sort of enjoy and embrace those other things so that you're not always chasing and waiting for the weekend, chasing and waiting for that next party. Enjoy and now enjoy what you're currently doing. Yeah. Random extra bonus point. I was thinking about how for this marathon that's coming up in May, I just found out that my friend Ed is also going to be doing it. And I have this want for him to support it, support me, push me, give me positive affirmation, tell me when to eat the gel packs. Like I want him to basically like just guide me through it, which probably won't happen because he has to look after Bonnie. Why do I want that? Like I want that because I want to be cared for. Why do I want to be cared for? I want to be careful so that I don't, I can slack off a bit and have someone pick up the slack and push me through it and get me to the finish line. Why do I want to do it? Because I'm lazy. I don't want to put in the training. I don't want to stand on my own 2 feet and then smash the marathon um, through my own commitment, like through just training, pure training. I don't want to do the research. I'm just lazy. See, like once I get to the root of the, this can probably go with the previous point. This will probably fit nicely with point 452. Once I see the root of why I want Ed to look out for me, it's like it's just me being lazy. It just fizzles that expectation and frustration that I know Ed wouldn't be able to do that for me. It's like that's just me being lazy. Let me put in the work, train for this marathon. Yeah. Lesson 454. I have this special ability to be there when people need it most, when they have no one else, and be busy slash unavailable when I'm not really needed. And they have a ton of other people, and they have a ton of other people already showing up. And I think it might be a reflection of how I'm all alone when I truly need someone. And I know how tough that feels, and how ironically, when I don't need people, I'm surrounded by people. Like I don't need you guys here. Yeah, life is truly a reflection of the internal problems, right? Because I know how sucky it feels when no one to show up to something that I would like someone to be there for. I show up when no one else shows up for others. And I know how not really beneficial it is to have extra people to something that I don't really need extra people at. So when there's like a surplus of people at something where they don't need me, you know, life surprisingly makes me busy. Lesson 455. All issues in your physical world is just a reflection of all your internal issues. Example, if you're feeling physically tired, that means your soul is tired. That's the root issue, root cause. Like right now, I think my body is like, it's like a 6.5 out of 10. I feel pretty good because I think my soul is recharged and happy and content. You know, when I was running out of money, I think that was because my mindset at that time was a mindset of obscurity, a mindset of lack of abundance. And I think that's still the case now. Like I realized, like I was like, okay, why aren't I, making clearing 10K a month in profit? It's probably because I'm like feel a bit scared of money. Like I'm not really free to it. I'm getting better and better, I'm getting closer and closer. I think the more I sort of work on enjoying the process, enjoying the grind, not needing bookings, not needing sales, all those good things. Um, I'll become more and more free to money. My need for it will be less and less, and it'll be reflected in the physical world. Have I eternally solved that problem? Yeah, because if I really enjoy the work, I don't really care about the money. I'm consistent every day. The money will come. It'll be reflected like that. Money is only running away from you if internally you're trying to like hold on to it or chase it. Lesson 456, 456. Go with the flow. Don't force things. Do what feels right to you, despite what everyone says, and you will be rewarded. Don't try to force that relationship. Don't try to go on that date with that girl because a friend told you to. Go with the flow. Don't force things. Things happen as is. You'll be rewarded. And that's sort of what has happened. I've been rewarded with the fact that I haven't gone into a relationship. I haven't had all this sort of baggage in my past. Like I'm so lucky. I have no baggage whatsoever. Like, yeah, and that's just me going with the flow. Yeah. Like, for example, Friday Run Club feels a bit forced, so I can't go to that. I'm not going to force it. Yeah. Lesson 457. People with troubled lives will see the world as a rough and unfair place. People who have cleared any internal problems will see the world as a beautiful and fair place. They both have different realities, yet they're in the same world. The person who sees the world as a beautiful place wouldn't even attract people who would share all the bad things that's happening around the world. That person would barely use social media. You create your own reality. And reality is a reflection of your internal state of mind. Very good point. Like if I was a positive, at peace internally, I would see that reflected in the world around me. And with that energy, even if for whatever reason there was like a political person or a person that was like an activist came up to me, like one, that person would even come up to me, and two, if we were forced in a conversation, they'd probably feel hesitant to even talk about that just off my sort of energy and vibe. So like the world really is a reflection. Now, like let's say you say, okay, what if you're born in India? Okay, let's say I was in India, or like let's say I was in some third world country, but I was like, I've reached enlightenment. I was like the Buddha. I think the Buddha would see beauty in that third world country and see how lucky he is and how like awesome and beautiful life is, despite being in that third world country. He'd probably be like, man, like look at all these beautiful souls walking around. There's some homeless person, but people are giving him money, so he's trugging along and he's staying alive. That's what he'll probably be seeing the world as if he had no internal troubles. Lesson lesson 458. People who have been overtaken do not know how to communicate with the overtaker. This is a good one. Like, put yourself in their shoes. Like, if you're a person who has always been ahead, always been leading the way, always been giving advice, someone you're someone that person looked up to. Now all of a sudden that person has overtaken you. Like you wouldn't like you would not know how to communicate them. It's like, do you like give them compliments? Do you start now looking up to them? Do you start asking them for advice? Like, but it's weird because this whole time the dynamic was the other way around. Obviously, this is a bit foreign to me because that has never been something I've had issues with. Like if someone overtook me, I'll be like, man, like you're so freaking good. You learn in such a fast time. You've overtaken me. I think I actually like overdo it because I know how it feels to not do it and then sort of have this weird awkward. So I was like, man, like you're so freaking fast. You put in so much hard work. You're like, you've grown so much. You're faster than me. Like I'm more than happy to say those things. And that's sort of why, I think the overtaker usually there's this build up of ego, angst, annoyance, jealousy. And I don't have that because I do that. But yeah, realize that when a person is overtaken, they just don't know how to communicate to the overtaker. They normalize that, expect it. It's not their fault. It's just hard in general. Lesson 459. An invite is actually another way of saying it would be helpful, beneficial, nicer if you came. It's an ask. Because if that wasn't the case, you wouldn't have invited that person. Hence I feel a imbalance, saying yes to everyone and everyone saying no to me. What's the solution? I guess one, when I'm on my own and alone, focus on self-love. Yeah, focus on me. Two, only invite people to things that I'm already invited to. Hey, it has to be a scenario where I know the participants, I know the scenario. And if I don't, it's probably better to go solo so I can easily suss things out, meet new people and introduce myself and get my feet wet. And B, I do know the outcome, I do know the scenario, and the current scenario doesn't really satiate my social desires enough. That's sort of when I should bring extra people and invite extra people. And three, follow your gut and have faith that God is lining things up with purpose. Meaning, people who are unavailable, trust that they're unavailable for good reason. And that the people that you want to invite will naturally come to mind for you without trying. Oh, starting to get cold. Lesson 460. Mirroring equals attraction. People are attracted to themselves. Figure out how people speak, figure out their language, their dictionary, talk in their words, talk in their worldviews, match them, mirror them, and you'll find them naturally just finding you interesting. And it's because, people are attracted to themselves. People want to see someone like, wow, like this person is just like me. So I think that's something I've been learning. Learn to mirror other people's energy, actions, and the reason why it works so well is that people love themselves. People are naturally narcissistic. It makes sense. If I found someone that was just like me, I'd be like, whoa, this person's so freaking cool. And it's cool because they're like me. So yeah, that's a cool. I think the main discovery is like, okay, learning why mirroring works. Lesson 461. I asked my friend, when was the last two times you said yes to something I invited you to? They'll most likely struggle. And upon doing so, they'll see how far and few has happened. Then ask your friend, when was the last two times I said no to something they invited me to? And they'll probably see how rarely I say no. And this will allow them to see a clear imbalance of me constantly showing up for them all the time and them rarely being able to show up for me. But I think the root cause of the root of this issue, if I go to the root, like if this is a cool thought experiment, just to be able to show the imbalance, but the root of the issue is like me wanting people to say yes to things I invite them to because I want to know that they want to hang out with me and I want to want to know they want to hang out with me because, I want to feel liked. Yeah, that's it. I just want to be liked. And once I get down to that root cause, that need for people to say yes fizzles away because I know why that annoyance or that need is happening. And it just fades away, which is pretty cool. So I've been practicing getting to the root of all my annoyances and all my frustrations. Lesson 462. If you believe in God, the universe, Brahman, you are in heaven. You feel seen. You feel like you're part of something bigger. You're able to gracefully move through life with faith and contentness. Whereas if you don't believe in God, the universe, Brahman, you're in hell. You're surrounded with doubt, unsureness, lack of purpose, loneliness, anxiety. You're constantly trying to numb that pain with partying, drugs, slash content. And that's what hell is. So maybe what the God, when the Bible says, hey, if you don't believe in God, you're going to hell, what that might really mean is like, hey, if you don't believe in God, life is going to be very tough, confusing, aimless, stressful, and that is hell. But whereas if you believe in God, you don't have this weight on your shoulders. You can go through life gracefully. You can really appreciate life and see how beautiful it is. And yeah, you're in the present now. You see the beauty and everything. And that's sort of what heaven is like and what heaven means. Lesson 463. Coming out from a very, very tough back-to-back weekend. This was Monday morning, I had this thought. I was unpacking the biggest and most insightful lessons ever, learning so, so much. I'm so grateful for that weekend, despite how overwhelming and tough it felt. It led to the biggest breakthroughs. So the lesson, the harder that activity, weekend situation is, the more lessons and the more valuable it will be after the fact. And you'll be glad it happened. So getting so cold. Yeah, maybe I want to move to the sun, but I don't want to get sunburned. Lesson 464. Let's just man through this. Life has hit me with a ton of awkward situations where I'm meeting girls who have had relationships with my friends, making me realize how happy I am with my subconscious decision of not going on many dates, going on dating apps, and like chatting with girls with that intention and not having gone on into any relationships, patiently waiting with content, not leaving this trail of broken friendships because I can see how it can trail you for years and years down the road and how it can multiply and have knock-on effects. If one quarter of your things came from your exes, one third of your travel experiences were with your exes, one third of your just activities and things you've done were with your exes. That's a lot of baggage that you're carrying. And it won't be easy for your current partner or next partner. I'm glad that my next partner, like, she's going to be so freaking lucky. And she's going to be an amazing person that deserves someone that held out and doesn't have all that baggage. So I'm finally getting to a point of gratitude for the path that life has taken me down. And it felt tough because, it was so unorthodox. I was made to feel like I was the problem and I was doing something wrong. But now I'm sort of seeing how lucky I am for having taken and chosen this path. Lesson 465. I don't only go the extra mile, but I go the extra 10 miles. That's why I have everything I have. I know people who, they go the extra mile, and as a result, they're quite, successful, and they've achieved quite a lot. But, you know, I go the extra 10 miles. Like, I shop to everything, whereas they sort of just do what they can. And that's sort of why I have everything I have. I have all the people in my life, I have all the things in my life. I have the amazing team, amazing companies, because I go the extra 10 freaking miles. So I need to keep pushing and see that it's not all gone to waste. So yeah, that's the lessons for this week. Peace.